chapter 6, verse 30. You can go there while I go there. We can go there together. The apostles returned to Jesus from their ministry tour and told him all they had done and taught. Then Jesus said, "Let's go off by ourselves to be in a quiet place and rest for a little while." He said this because there were so many people coming and going that Jesus and his apostles didn't have time to eat. They couldn't even eat. So they left by a boat for a quiet place where they could be alone, but many people recognized them and saw them leaving, and people from many towns ran ahead along the shore and got there ahead of them. Jesus saw the huge crowd as he stepped off from the boat, and he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. So he didn't get a break. You try to get a break and you ain't getting a break. Sorry. Jesus didn't get a break. So stop saying you're too tired to deal with people. Sorry. Sorry. He didn't get a break. He tried, but he didn't get it. Great. Now I lost where I'm at. 30. Thank you. Late in the afternoon, his disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to nearby farms and villages and buy them something to eat." Sounds pretty reasonable. That's what we would probably say too. But Jesus, somebody say, but Jesus said, "Why don't you feed them? You do it. You feed them." Right. All right, they're looking at him like, okay. Right, okay. With what? Reasonable question. I would also say that. They asked, "We'd have to work for months to earn enough money to buy food for all of these people. How much bread do you have?" He asked. "Go and find out." They came back and reported, "We have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. That's not a lot of food, by the way. These aren't whales. He didn't come back with 2 whales. Just fishes. Little boy carried these fishes. It's probably little fishes, right? No reasonable explanation for what I'm about to say. Then Jesus told his disciples to have the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of 50 or 100. And Jesus took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looked up towards heaven, blessed them. Then breaking the loaves, somebody say breaking the loaves into pieces, he kept giving the bread to the disciples so they could distribute it to the people. He also divided the fish for everyone to share. They all ate as much as they wanted. Somebody say as much as they wanted. And afterward, the disciples picked up 12 baskets of leftovers. 12 baskets. A total of 5,000 men and their families were fed. And you can add the side note, 5,000 men. That it equates to probably 15,000 people altogether, maybe even 20,000. It's a lot of people. It's remarkable, right? It's incredible. And we've heard a lot of messages. Actually, I'm not going to go there. We've heard a lot of messages about breaking things, but usually it's about breaking chains, breaking habits, breaking bad relationships, breaking up with your boyfriend, yada, yada. We're talking about breaking a lot in the church, but today we're going to talk about breaking bread, right? Breaking bread. Somebody say breaking bread. Somebody say this a lot because I want to make sure y'all are listening. And y'all are responding so good. So I feel listened to. I feel heard. So nice. I love to feel heard. People always saying that. I just want to feel heard. I just want to feel heard. Okay, whatever. But this scripture is amazing. It's an incredible miracle. It's miraculous, and like literally the bread, like they picked up 12 baskets. That's in my mind that's more food than they had to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how much space 2 fishes and the loaves of bread occupy, but I don't think it was 12 baskets. But somehow he picked out 12 baskets of leftovers. That's insane. And we look at the story, we say, wow, that's incredible. And so did the disciples and everybody who was involved. They thought, yeah, that was incredible. But then the story goes on. And I'm going to pick up in John chapter 6, verse 22, because it's surprising what the disciples have to say after this. This is right after that happened. And this is what ends up happening. Verse 22, find it myself. The next day, the crowd that had stayed on the far shore saw the disciples had taken the only boat, and they realized Jesus had not gone with them. Several boats from Tiberias landed near the place where the Lord had blessed the bread and the people had eaten. So when the crowd saw that neither Jesus nor his disciples were there, they got into boats and went across to Capernaum to look for him. They found him on the other side of the lake, and they asked, Rabbi, how did you get here? And he said, I tell you the truth, you do not want to be with me because I fed you. I'm sorry, I tell you the truth, you want to be with me because I fed you, not because you understood the miraculous sign. Not because you understood the miraculous sign. Where I'm going today is that these people that were just fed miraculously at the beginning of the chapter. Oh, wait, hold on. Just give me a second. I didn't read all of my verse. I want to read the rest of the verse real quick. But picking up at verse 27. Don't be so concerned about perishable things like food. Spend your energy seeking eternal life so that the Son of God can give you. That the Son of God can give you. For God the Father has given me the seal of approval. And just after that, it says that they were wanting to force him to be king right there. They were ready to force him to be king. That's a little further on. It says they're ready to force him to be king. So they saw, I'm trying to, why does that say that? Dude, normally I just don't even do the note thing. But then I was like, the Lord was like, whatever. The point is, I'm here. I'm doing this right. Look, I can't believe I had this written up so wonky. I should probably just stop trying to read it. He saw, he turned. Yeah, forget all that. The point is, later, the people who were just fed miraculously, they were searching for Jesus because they woke up and guess what they were? Hungry. I feel so much bad. I'm going to turn this whole phone off. I don't even need that crap. They were hungry. They were just fed, but they woke up and they wanted some breakfast. Now, they didn't just want some breakfast. They wanted the whole continental breakfast. They wanted everything. They wanted the eggs, the bacon. I mean, these people were running. They were running miles to get back to where they were trying to find Jesus. Like, where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? He fed us. He's going to feed us again. He's going to give us what we want. He's going to give us what we need. He's going to feed me. He's going to feed me. They were right. They were right. But they were right about the wrong thing. Okay, Jesus would feed them. And it would last forever. The bread that he gave them was a physical bread that they ate and were satisfied with. But the meaning is what they were missing. They were missing the meaning. That's why he said, I tell you the truth, you want to be with me because I fed you. You want my food. You want my blessing. You want my bread. You want my physical provision. But you're missing the meaning. Sorry, I got to get this all out of the way. You're missing the meaning. Somebody say that with me. Missing the meaning. Are we missing the meaning? Because I look at the language that we speak, and I look at words that we say, and I'm like, I'm missing the meaning because I don't know what some of the words we're saying even mean anymore because we have diluted words to the point where they don't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Not just your generation, but my generation have, and maybe all of us have a lot to do with this, but we have made slang words all over the place. Now we don't know what is a slang word and what's not a slang word. We just say all these kind of words, and when we think about it, we're like, what does that word even mean? I say it all the time. What does the word mean? What is the meaning? But here we're talking about a miracle. We're looking at, what does this miracle mean? Because they were missing it. They were wanting to be fed. They wanted their Taco Bell. They wanted it from Jesus. And they wanted to satisfy a feeling. They wanted to satisfy a feeling. But, somebody say, but? That's not how Jesus is. The meaning of the miracle, now I'm not going to get all crazy deep with this. I'm just saying. The meaning of the miracle was that the bread kept coming. The little that he had to work with, it kept coming. It kept coming. It kept coming. It never stopped coming. It fed some 20,000 people with this little amount of food, had more than he had left. He had more left over than he had to begin with. That's insane. It kept coming. It never stopped. When God, what you have, guess what it is? It's more than enough. It's 12 baskets of leftovers enough. It is more than enough when it's in the hands of who? When it's in the hands of God. You may be walking around your life, going through your week, like starving to death. You might feel like you are starving to death spiritually, like you don't know what it is, but your soul feels like it's just dying. Your spirit is waning. And you have to come to church to get it back. You have to come hear a word. You have to come get fed. But that's not how Jesus is telling you you're supposed to live. If that's how we're living like this crowd of people. We're just a crowd, not really seeking him for who he is and the miraculous signs. We're not really searching for the meaning. We're just searching for the food. We're searching for the fix. Jesus is not about the fix. He's not about satisfying your fix. He's not. Just tell me one place where he says he is. He won't tell you that. He'll tell you to pick up your cross and go through the rubble with him. Crawl through the rubble with him. He'll never tell you that he's here to satisfy your feelings or what you think you need. Can I get an amen? Because even when you're fed miraculously, you still wake up hungry, okay? That's just the long and short of it. Even if you're fed miraculously, you wake up hungry. Even when you come to church and you hear a word from the Lord, you still wake up, say it with me, hungry. Even when you see a great victory in your life, you wake up. And even when you felt his glory come on you and you shook and you fell down even maybe, you still wake up. There's a problem. Because you're not supposed to wake up hungry. Actually, you know what? Replace that. Strike that. You are supposed to wake up hungry. You're supposed to have a buffet living inside of you. A never-ending buffet. And that is the point. That is the point. God delivered to you his son, the bread of life. If that is in you, then the bread that he was demonstrating that he had in his hands, it will keep coming. Do you know what that means? That means you do not have to search for food anywhere else. You don't have to go running around the lake trying to find Jesus frantically because his bread has been given to you. It's already there. What you have been given can be broken 1 billion times to feed yourself with. It's called the Word of God. It's called worship. It's called getting into a quiet place like Jesus was trying to find when all these people were all up on him. It's finding a quiet place and just listening to the Lord. It's not sitting there trying to make up words to say all the time. Just listen. Just listen. It's loving your neighbor. It's being kind to each other. You want food? All you have to do is obey what this says. It will feed your spirit. It's already been given. Jesus, by the way, was the final word of God. Do you know what that means? Anything that's going to be said by him has already been said in this book. That means everything that's been said by God is already here, available for us to eat, to satisfy our soul, to feed our spirit. But we are constantly looking for someone else to prepare the meal for us and shove it down our throats. It's not how it works. You will live a spiritually deprived life, and you will be starving from week to week to week to week, and you will suffer. You will never find that peace and joy that you're supposed to have, that the Bible talks about. You'll never find it because you're starving. You're just like your body goes into some, starvation mode, so does your spirit. It starts waning, starts weakening. So why would we do that? Why would we live a starving life? Somehow I think we're just missing the meaning. Like, I think we're just missing this so basic idea. And me too, like why I wouldn't go a day without eating. I mean, unless I was fasting for spiritual reasons or whatever. But generally, I'm not going day to day without eating. And if I am, I'm miserable. Yeah, like you're miserable if you don't eat, right? Like, come on. If you don't eat, you get cranky, you get mad about everything, and it's just not fun to be around you. Well, spiritually, it's the same way. Like, spiritually, like if you starve yourself spiritually, guess what? You're going to be an angry person. You are not going to be able to control your temper. You're not going to be able to fight off the lust. You're not going to be able to fight off the greed. You're not going to be able to fight off the gossip. You're not going to be able to fight off because you're just starving. You're weak. When you're starving, you're weak. That's why we eat, to nourish our bodies. Well, what about nourishing your spirit? We can't forget about that. Like, literally, we can't forget about it. It's everything. The meaning of the miracle is that we have it in us. We don't have to be hungry. If you're hungry, go eat something. It's right there inside of you. You don't have to go running for it. And you certainly don't have to be obsessed with your, like, a lot of us, like, we let me just talk about some places that we go to eat, okay? Because we try to satisfy our feelings more than we try to satisfy our spirit a lot. And I think we maybe don't even realize what we're doing. But we go to our job and we get our food from our job. What I mean by that is I place that as the place, like that's the thing that I get my feeling of worth from. Like I'm doing good in my job, so I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I'm the boss. Maybe I am literally the boss, so I feel like the boss. So I'm walking around like sort of confident, but it's because I'm the boss, literally at my job, right? I make plenty of money, so I'm walking around with confidence. Now, what if you were broke? Guess what? Walking like this now. Oh, you don't got no money. So sad. No. That's because the job was feeding you. The job was your junk food. Okay? Being the center of attention can be your junk food. Always got to be the center of attention. If something's not happening in your life, you got to make something happen in your life, even if it's something bad. Even if it's something that's destructive to yourself. You're going to be doing it because people will look at you and have pity on you. They'll look at you and say, oh, are you okay? They'll look at you, or maybe it's like, oh, you're so great. No, you're so great at doing that. That feeds you somehow. That feeds you. It's junk food. It's junk food because as soon as you're not getting attention, you're back to like, oh, nobody loves me. I'm worthless. I'm no good. I'm ugly. Nobody told me I was pretty today. Nobody told me I was handsome. I must be no good. Nobody wants me. Seriously, that's what we think like. That's because being the center of attention, being told X, Y, and Z is like where we get our sustenance from. Guess what? Junk food. It's all junk food. All of it. Like you can go down drugs, sex, money. It's all junk food. Absolute, complete junk food. You don't need any of that when you got the bread of life inside of you and you're eating from it. Probably every one of y'all have the bread of life inside of you. All right? I know most of y'all pretty good. Y'all probably all have the bread of life sitting inside. Y'all have an endless buffet just right in here. But you aren't drawing from it. You're not going down the line picking up the compound chicken and the rice and stuff. You're just like literally like, where else can I go? Where else can I go? I want some Taco Bell today. I want some McDonald's. I want some whatever. That is not where you go to eat. It literally, the junk food tastes so good, but it literally makes you feel so bad later. Junk food, I have a difficult relationship with junk food because I love junk food. Like pizza rolls are So good. I love pizza rolls. It's like a soul food for me. I like when I'm feeling sad, I'm like, I want some pizza rolls. Or Taco Bell. Either one's works for me. But I feel so bad afterwards. I feel so bad, and it's never really worth it. If I had a salad instead, I would have been much more happy the next day. But I go there anyway. It satisfies something inside of me. It's like a quick fix to get my mind off of certain things or whatever, to make me feel good. But God, when you eat from God, He solves the problem. When you consume the bread of life, it isn't a quick fix. It's a permanent fix. It can be a gradual but permanent fix. It's a permanent feeling of satisfaction. You know what I'm saying? Like that when we talk about the peace that comes and surpasses all understanding, you know that comes from being satisfied in Him. Okay, junk food will never satisfy you more than like 10 minutes. While you're eating it is literally all the satisfaction you get from a junk food. Just while you're eating it. You like Taco Bell from the moment you open that burrito to the moment you wrap it up and put it in the garbage. After that, no satisfaction. It's done. You know, it's it. You're looking for the next time you can get some, but that's it. With God, when you eat the bread of life, you take it and you eat it, and you feel energy. You feel energy. Maybe the flavor was a little bland. You know what I'm saying? Because we look at the book a lot of times and we're like, maybe it's a little bland and it doesn't have all the salt and the addictive chemicals in it. But man, this stuff will carry you and make you feel full for a long time. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? I mean, this is straight up, like, obvious, right? It's like straight up, like, basic. It is basic, but I find myself struggling with this. So I'm just assuming that most people probably do too. We just start picking up the bread that was already broken. It was already, well, you want to get into like an Easter Sunday, like it was already beaten. You know, it was covered up, it was risen, and it was distributed for your taking, for your consumption. So, look, I'm not, so, back to my notes. There's no point in going back to my notes. So I don't want to go over myself over and over. I just want to get that simple point across that I got to look inside myself and I got to find out. I'm going to sit down for a second. I got to find out where I'm going. Where am I finding these fixes? Like, I think the main thing that we can do as people who are trying to follow Christ is be honest with yourself. Like, don't lie to yourself. You are going somewhere. You are going to some place. And I don't care if it's a drug place. I don't care if it's a sexual place. I don't care if it's a literal gluttony place. You're going somewhere to find a fix because you're not getting satisfied in Jesus. So I want you to be honest with, like, just consider, like, just where am I going when I feel a certain type of way? Because I know where I go. Right? I know where I go. You know where you go too. So identify that place in yourself and just say, make the decision to change your mind about going there. Like, you can find it in Him. So I guess all I'm really trying to just say is that, like, and I'm going to pray. My prayer is going to be that when you feel a certain way that you need to fix, that God will interrupt your train of thought so that you have opportunity to choose his food over that food. Okay? Because there's not much I can do speaking about this other than to bring it up. Okay? I'm not like super into the idea that I can get up here and speak a bunch of words and that they're going to just blow you off the face of the earth. And I'm just not in. I don't know why I think that way, but I believe that making you, just focusing you on this idea and then literally praying that God will do the thing that we can't do. Okay? I want you to be aware that you need the food of Jesus. You don't need the food of the world. And then ask God to do what we can't do. Because I don't know about you, but I know for a fact that, like, when you're in a train of just doing this is how you do it, this is what you do. When you know X, Y, Z happens, I always go here. You know, when I'm feeling lonely, I always go here. When I'm feeling hurt, I go here. You know? When I'm angry, I go here. I have a place I go every time. It's like when I feel like I don't know what my trigger is for pizza rolls. But there's a trigger. I know there's a trigger. Like every time I just like, okay, I need some pizza rolls. I'm going to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to eat some pizza rolls when nobody sees me. I'm going to watch a TV show that I like. You know what I'm saying? It's something triggers that. I'm not sure what it is. I should probably look into that. But so I just want you to be aware of those things. Just have them pop up in your mind. You know what they are. Have them pop up in your mind, because we are going to pray that every time X, Y, and Z happens, that you will be interrupted. Somebody say interrupted. Interrupted. Because when you have those patterns in your life, you just do them automatically. And I'm not sure that anybody really has, at least most people don't have the just, you know something different, so you go down that path and all of a sudden you just think for yourself and interrupt your pattern. I don't know that we have much capability to do that ourselves. Because I've had patterns in my life that I just tried to fight forever. Like just thinking like this thing that I do is so stupid. It's so wrong. I hate it. And every time I do it, I hate it. But literally while the ball is rolling, I feel no place where I can stop it. Because I was trying to stop it. Before and after, I'm like, next time I think that way, I'm going to stop it right there. It never happened. It never happened. I have to trust God to make the interruption. Interrupt me. Interrupt me when I'm doing something destructive. Interrupt me when I'm going down a path that I don't realize I'm doing it, but something happened over here. She said that about me, and now I'm just going on for this, and now I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and I never even thought anything in between. And now I'm just like beating somebody up, like I'm punching somebody. And I never even had a thought between it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just did it. You need an interruption. You need an interruption. You need an interruption to say, no, eat here. Don't go there. That food will make you fat and unhappy. It'll make you feel like garbage. It will make you feel good while you're eating it, but then it will make you feel miserable for days afterwards, and it will stick on you for a long time. You'll have to exercise that stuff off. And that's just more work than you have to put into it, y'all. For real. So, and I know this was not super long, and I don't even really care. I love you guys, and I'm not trying to draw things out. So I want to pray, and Brent, maybe you can like put the pads on or something, just so it sounds nice up here, not so dry. But I want anybody who knows, who recognizes that they have a place they go to where they're getting food, they're getting sustenance, they're getting fed. That is not a place of God. That is not from within him. That is not the bread of life. Anybody who feels like they have that in them, which I would think most of us do, I want you to come up here. I want you to come up here and just sort of in an act of confession. Like I don't want to, so often we let pride just keep us from stuff like this, like just as simple as coming up here. It's an act of confession that I eat from somewhere I'm not supposed to eat from. Well, guess what? It shows up in your waistline, so you're not fooling anybody. You know what I'm saying? When I look at you and you're angry all the time, it's showing up. You're not hiding it. If you're eating from God, you're not going to be angry. You know, if it makes you upset, you're not gonna lash out if you're eating from God. If you're eating the bread of life, that's not what happens. It's showing up. So if you have that and you are identifying that you are eating out when you should be eating from within, then I want you to come up here. I want you to come up here in faith that God is going to interrupt you next time. Interrupt you. Come on. That's the invitation.